Yeah, what was the issue you faced? Same issue like Abhijit. Oh, okay. Fine. So you see this, let me give you an overview here. Let me give you an overview. So understand this. To start with, we created a Spring application. And how did we create a Spring application? We clicked on File, New. I said Project. And then what we selected from here was Spring Initializer. I gave the name as Spring Demo. Now, since we already have Spring Demo, of course, I won't be able to create a new project with the same name. We changed the group to com.pwc.training. And then we gave the artifact ID as Spring Demo. And then this was the basic package. This was the base package. In your case, it would automatically pick up your SDK, the one that you have installed on your machine, and it will pick that up. And then it is supposed to be a jar file, whatever the defaults are. And then you say next, and the project is created. Now you've got to pay attention here. Okay, whatever exceptions, whatever issues you're getting, I will solve them. And I'm sure you will be able to crack that, but then please pay attention. You see, I am recapping the whole thing very quickly and very fast. So we created a project, clicking on next, and then we created the project. So the project got created. And in the SRC folder, in main, in resources, we have application.properties file. Initially, to start with, we set server.port is equal to 8081, so that my application starts on port 8081. My Spring application starts on port 8081. Okay. And then what we did is that we clicked on View, and we clicked on Tools, Windows, and then we clicked on Services here. So we got the Services tab. Initially when the Services tab comes up, it is somewhere over here. So I dragged and dropped it here, just next to Git, so that it becomes easier for me to refer to it. And then when I get that, I can very well say add a service. I can say add, click right mouse button, and then otherwise, if this is not there, it will give you an option of add service. You will get a small dialog box. You need to scroll down towards the end of it, and somewhere you will find fourth last or fifth last option as Spring Boot. You select that, and it will automatically bring up Spring Demo application. And then when you run your application, you would see that it starts on port 8081. Then we created, these are the classes that we created. We created within the model package. So we created all the packages within the Spring Demo package. None of your packages must be out of this. It must be all within. So you see, we have got a model package within which we created a customer class, and this is how our customer class looked like: ID, name, and address, and the setter getter methods, and the constructor ID, name, and address, right? And then after that, we have got the toString method, isn't it? Then we also have the DAO class created, but this DAO class was created as a component. You remember, I did spend good amount of time explaining what these components are, what it really means by declaring a class as a component with an annotation. Because when you do this, it automatically understands, your Spring framework understands that the Bean factory is supposed to create an instance of this class and place it in the container. And then it also has JDBC template class, and it creates the object of JDBC template, and then it automatically it wires it up to this reference variable. In short, JDBC template is a reference variable which will point to an object of class JDBC template runtime. It is the responsibility of the Spring framework to do this. Where am I getting this JDBC template from? I'm getting this JDBC template from a package. You see this org.springframework.jdbc.core. And how do I get this package in the class path? This is how I get it, because of this library. How did we introduce this library in our project? We clicked on pom.xml file, and in pom.xml file, you see we have included this additional dependency, as a result of which we have this dependency in our Maven. Whenever you make changes to your pom.xml file, it's advisable that you come here and say reload. Okay, so I close this, I go back here, and then in DAO class, what I've done is, instead of writing all my code of creating a new connection object, and then creating a statement, and then executing the query, and then looping through it, instead of that, I will use the JDBC template service. And what is that? .query service. So I say JDBC.query, and then I need to pass two parameters. One is a parameter of select star from customer, or whatever your select statement is. And the next parameter here is, see this. This is the next parameter. You can see this here. This next parameter is new row mapper, and don't worry about the color combination here. Don't worry about the color combination. It is because on my machine I have installed Sonar, and it is giving me some hints with respect to the code that I have written in order to improve the quality of code. We will discuss that later. But here you see new row mapper customer, and you see this here, map row is the function. Well, this row mapper is, you see, it's a functional interface. So I could have written the same thing like this as well. Okay, I could have written the same thing like this. So let me comment this here. And instead of writing a new row mapper, can't I write this a as a as a lambda expression? Come on, isn't it? As a lambda expression. And in the row mapper, you know what is the name of the function? It's map row. How many parameters does it take? It takes the parameter result set rs and the row number 2 parameters. So it's a binary operation. And what it returns back is a value. So I can write the whole thing as follows. I'll say rs, that is the result set, and then a row number. And I don't need to, I repeat, I don't need to specify the data types here because it understands the data type automatically. See this, and I do this, right? And what I need to return back is, I don't need this now, I don't need this now, I don't need this, and I say return the value. You see this? I'm returning a new customer. And then you see this here, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Either you write this way or this way. Now this is the lambda expression, isn't it? This is the lambda expression that you are writing. This is how. So we wrote this customer DAO class, and then we also have written a class called command line run. My command line runner. When will this execute? This will execute towards the end of the starting of our container. So whenever the container starts, and towards the end of it, once the container has started successfully, which container? The Spring container, the Spring application. When it starts successfully towards the end of it, once and for all, it will execute this class. Why? Because I have marked it as component, so it is a part of my Spring context. I mean, it is known by my Spring context. My Spring is the Spring container is aware of the existence of this class, so it will create an object of this class. And since it implements command line runner, it will certainly have the implementation of the run method, and it will execute the run method. So when all my classes are instantiated and by the Spring, and all my components are put in service, then finally it is this run method that gets executed because it's a command line runner. And in that, you see, I have auto wired the customer DAO, and that customer DAO dot get customers, and then I use for each, and then using for each, I print the customer object. Why and how come I'm able to print the customer object elegantly? Because in the customer class, we have specified, in our customer class, we do have a toString method, which converts, or which converts it to the string format in a much better way. So then in that case, when I start my application, see this, towards the end of it, what executes is after my container starts, you see my container has started successfully. And after my container has started okay, you see my, okay, so it's unable to connect to the database because the machine on which my database is there, on that machine, yes, that machine was in sleep mode. That machine is just, I have resurrected that machine, and then it got connected to the database, and here you go. You can see this here, right? I've got the data here printed on the console. Once my application starts, towards the end of it, you can see this through command line runner. I'm using customer DAO. If I have to show the same thing to you with draw.io, okay, Spring JDBC data. So you've got the customer DAO that talks to the JDBC template. It is the JDBC template that in turn talks to your database, right? It is your JDBC template that talks to the database. So I don't need to worry about establishing the connection to the database, executing the statement, and looping through the results. That I don't need to worry about it. It is the job of JDBC template. And this customer DAO in turn is being used by this customer DAO. You have a command line runner as yet another component. I have command line runner, right? I'll say command line runner. So this is my command line runner that implements command line runner, which will execute as soon as my Spring container starts. And from there, I make a call to customer DAO. What is the call that I'm making here, friends? Come on, tell me what is the call? What do? I say get customers. and I loop through it and I display the value of customers. I get customers. Customer DAO uses invokes which object on the JDBC template? Query object, and it passes two parameters. All right, one is the select statement, and comma, the other is the expression, if it's a lambda expression, or else a row mapper, implementation of a row mapper. Like, what do you mean by implementation of row mapper? How will it get, how would you want to process each and every row that it retrieves from the database? The JDBC template retrieves from the database as a callback handler. JDBC template will invoke the row mapper and execute the implementation that you have provided, right? And it returns to you the list of customer objects. This is how it is. This is how it works. This is your MySQL database. Right, friends? All of this is the part of your database. Got this? This is how it works. Now, if you have any questions, absolutely feel free to ask this question. So can you explain about AutoWired, its use? Oh, I have spent a good amount of time, Anand, on that. Uh, how come you missed it? Okay, so Anand, it was you who lost electricity last evening? Oh, okay. So Anand, I'll give you an overview very quickly, but then that I don't think so that would be sufficient. You will have to, connect with your friends and then take some inputs from them. But then let me still give you the overview here. So you see this auto wired is the responsibility. I mean, this is the annotation that we use from Spring Framework. It is provided by Spring Framework. See this. That's provided by Spring Framework, org.springframework.beans. All right. So when I do auto wire on top of any field, it will automatically inject the dependency of that particular class. So customer DO is a component which will be instantiated by Spring Container, and it will keep the reference of this, to be very specific, by the bean factory of it will be instantiated by the bean factory of Spring, and then it will hold on to the reference of this object of this class, and wherever I use at the rate AutoWire customer DO, it will inject the dependency so that I can keep on using it anywhere in my application here. So see, I have used in run method, I have used customer DO, right? AutoWired is used, the usage is to inject the dependency. And please recollect, I did explain AutoWired to you all the day before yesterday also while working on customer servlet in the customer application. There, of course, I couldn't use AutoWired. I commented it, but I just gave you an example that if at all I have to, if there was a Spring framework in class path, I could have used AutoWired there. But then instead of AutoWired, I created my own factory. You remember? Customer Service Factory. Do you remember Customer Service Factory? Right? In the customer app? Correct. So that Customer Service Factory, instead of me creating all of these factories, the factory is provided by, you remember this Customer Service Factory? Right? And then in the servlet, you write, get using the factory, but I don't have to do all of this if I use AutoWired in Spring Framework. Of course, I cannot use that here. If I give that here, it will give me a compilation error because I mean, I don't have AutoWired here, right? How will I be able to import it? It's not there at all. I cannot use it here. So instead of doing all of this, creating my own factories and stuff, when we moved on to Spring, this is the benefit that we get. We can use AutoWired. Okay, friends, you're getting the point? Right? Okay, now I will give you sufficient time to work on this, and let me still further commit the code. I am committing the code here. And yes, very important, in the application.properties file, you need to configure the database URL, your JDBC URL, the username, and the password, right? So let me commit my re-explained. Okay, and commit and push. No problem. Okay, so it's committed. If you want, you can take the pull in a fresh folder and in a new folder, and you can see the things. And you must run this because, friends, there are hundreds of other things that we are going to learn, and it is all related. I hope I'm very clear on this. Hello, friends. I hope I'm very clear on this. We are going to learn hundreds of things as we move on. So you do not have a choice. You're getting this point, friends? We are going to learn hundreds of things, and it's a continuation of all that we have learned here. You miss this, you don't see this in action, you will you will miss on everything. Then what will happen is that this will, like, kind of this entire training, the rest of the days will become like a movie which you've got to watch. You understand things, but okay, you won't gain the confidence on the subject matter if you have not done the hands-on. If you all have unanimous consensus, and if you all unanimously tell me that it's okay that you don't want to do hands-on, and I just keep on explaining things, I'm good with that. This is a fast track training program anyway. Do you all want hands-on? Yes or no? Do you all want to do hands-on? Yes or no? Okay, great, super. So I will support you all. Okay, I will support you all. So please do the hands-on and make this application run on your machine. And then in bits and pieces, we will be learning, and then you will also be, trying those things out on your own machine. Just run this application as it is. Needless to say, you will have to make changes to this. All right, and the username and the password. You will have to make this as a local host, and then the username and the password that you have of your database. Right, friends, get started. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.